Oh,
Oh,
we're live now.
live!
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween! Oh my gosh. So, Amy, what are you for Halloween?
I am a nature spirit, earth spirit. I've got a tree growing out my forehead. What are you, Alison?
I am a hillbilly or something, and all hillbillies have freckles and
Oh,
work with nature spirits.
oh,
And
we both
so,
work.
this is a good combination.
That is brilliant. I started off being a cat, and then the cat turned into like trees growing out my forehead. So I'm like, let me just be a nature spirit. I like to roll around in the dirt all the time anyway. So
me too. That's what hillbillies love to do. I didn't
that's
even.
why we're friends, Alison.
Oh my God. I can't wait to see you soon.
Yeah, to roll around in the dirt some more. Conscious horse, conscious rider.
Exactly. Oh my God. So we were just kind of talking a little bit before about Halloween in different countries. And what I was told is that as a kid, well, I wasn't even told as a kid. I was told older that no other countries celebrated Halloween. Like it was just an American thing. And if you travel anywhere, they're not going to do Halloween. Which, as I started traveling more, like everybody does Halloween, even South Korea, like everywhere. So, how was Halloween for you growing up in Ireland?
Did they tell you that so you would never leave America?
They probably did. Like, if you leave America, you will never have Halloween. I'm like, okay, I won't leave. Just kidding, I will. But it's here too.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, no, so that's funny. We used to just like, dress up and like I was telling you before I got on, like I remember back then, like years ago, like the costumes weren't as elaborate and stuff. So a lot of times, like I think we just, buy those masks at the shop. They're like the we used to have the one pound shop or the euro shop and buy the mask. Yeah. So you might like just buy the mask. And then I remember even some years, like my mother would be just like, I have no outfits for you. So we'd put a black bin bag over your head and then like put two things. So you have like your eyes can see and then like put a thing around your mouth. So like you cut the head a bit so you can breathe and you can talk and you can see. Yeah.
And it's so sweaty. I think I did that too.
Yeah. And you just go around trick-or-treating. And like we did like, I had two brothers and a sister, and we lived like where everyone else trick-or-treated. So you just go around and get all like the sweets and fill up your bag and then come back, and we'd have a Bob the Apple where you put your face in and you try to like pull the apple out of the water.
My whole life. I'm so jealous.
So we would just do that. But I don't actually remember I don't remember like ghost stories or anything like that. Like I don't remember like being scared or anything. So Halloween never really, to me, it was just like about getting lots of sweets
up and having fun. Yeah, and I stole all my brother's candy. I don't think they know that. If you're watching, stole all rules. I made sure to go and pluck out every single one of those, and I don't think you knew because I was dominant.
But the people that used to give you the nuts, I used to hate them. I'm like, why are you giving me nuts?
What's nuts?
Nuts. The nuts. So I don't know if you have them here, but we used to get these Halloween nuts, and there was like it was just like a peanut, but then around it was this like covering. So you'd have to like crack through the covering to get the nut.
That's
and like
terrible.
It was a terrible treat to get.
I know. Like, why did people give you healthy things for Halloween too? Or like,
I don't know.
Like whatever. Or pennies. I'm like, okay, I should have maybe enjoyed the pennies.
Did you watch like Halloween horror movies or anything like that?
Yeah, I was a kid that like watched every single horror movie I could get my hands on.
Oh yeah, you were the
why, but it excited me, but also terrified me at the same time. So for every single Halloween, I was basically like anything. I was like a mouse or a scientist or Little Red Riding Hood, but then it was killer. So I was killer everything. So I would be Little Red Riding Hood, but I would have a knife and blood and like a rat or whatever.
You see, I think I was the opposite. So I actually hated scary movies growing up, and I hated anything like eerie and spooky and dark. And I loved like anything magical, like fairy, like angels, like all that stuff. So even like when it came to dressing up as Halloween, and even now as an adult, when people say, "What, get dressed up for Halloween?" I'm like, I'll be a fairy. Give me wings, like give me a halo, like I'll be a butterfly. Like I like tend to veer towards like more that fairy-like energies. And I think even the movies I watch,
killer fairy.
You're like, going around stabbing people.
I think we need more of those. Just kidding. It's so funny too, because I was also always terrified as a child, and I didn't know why, literally until I took my first Talk to the Entities class. I'm like, oh shit, I was watching so many of those horror movies as kids. I was so aware of energy. I thought everything was trying to kill me, but I thought it was also in my imagination, and I couldn't tell anybody because they're like, no, monsters aren't real. No one's trying to kill you. Ghosts aren't real. I'm like, okay. Well, why am I so terrified? And it wasn't until 30 whatever years later that I found out that ghosts are real. You are aware of things. Not everything's trying to kill you. If you watch a lot of movies, yes, you might think that, but
I think there's been a lot of like, so I was wondering, like, before we got on the live, like, I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Like, because like for me, like I've been way more connected. Like for me, I see like the spirit world to me is like, a lot of times it's like people that have passed on. And from a young age, I was very connected to people without bodies that had been here before. And also like the fairy realm, the nature spirits. I was very much in communion with that growing up.
Especially
so like that, growing up in Ireland, because we would just play on the land all day. Like we would just be out in the field, up the mountains. So I didn't really like playing with that many people. I used to play by myself a lot and make up my own games. And now I realize I was actually playing a lot with the earth spirits and nature spirits and stuff. But I realized that like that scary stuff, it was a lie for me. So anything that's a lie, I tend to just like, okay, whatever. I'm not even going to go there. Yeah. And I was looking at today and I was like, even the energy around, like, because you could say like spirit, but then you say ghost. And it's like the whole energy around a ghost is like, it's haunting you or something, and is that actually true?
Yes. Not for you. When I was a kid, I was like, But I also, so it sounds like you liked more of like a calm, like your point of view around entities when you were younger was like, yay. And mine was like adrenaline. Like I live for adrenaline or something. Otherwise I didn't know it was real. So that's really cool because now so much, I know I've had a lot of coffee this morning. So I'm like, this isn't adrenaline. I'm just excited. So but now, like with being aware of entities and ghosts, it like they don't have to get my attention through adrenaline anymore or through anxiety, or sometimes it'll show up like that still. And I'm like, oh, is this an entity? Oh, hello. Okay. Now I know that that's just like one of the triggers or like one of the, what do we call them? Like
signs, entity awareness signs.
Yeah. Entity awareness signs that they're around. And so now when I get anxious or anxiety or like adrenaline, I'm like, oh, is this mine? Is this someone else's? Is this an entity? Like, what is this? Is this the earth? And it's just way easier to maneuver and like
be with it.
Yeah, be with it.
Yeah. I even had that yesterday, like, and I use the tools of Talk to the Entities like on a daily basis, and clearing, communicating, receiving, which you learn more about in the Talk to the Entity class. But like I came home, I was
the rewrite.
Yes.
You haven't taken the rewrite yet. Well, you haven't taken the rewrite yet. So Talk to the Entities is being rewritten. There's a new manual, and there's a fourth thing that you now do. That's for later. Anyway, go ahead. Clear, communicate, receive.
Well, I mean, that's interesting. Like that actually fourth element I was reading about in a book last night, which is a lot of how we be with the earth. But like I came home last night and I was like, after teaching a class around a lot of kind of like heavy energy, like people in because it's a rehab center, it's a drug rehab center. So people are coming off drugs. So there's like a lot going on in their world, in the center. And I came home and I had that, like you said, like that anxiety palpitating. And I know before, like, I'd be like, oh, I'd be resisting it. And now with the tools to Talk to the Entities, it's just like, okay, what is this? Like, okay, is there entities here I can clear? And then I go through the entity clearing, which is so easy. This is why I'm so grateful for Talk to the Entities, because it's like, it's not that I'm not aware of like heavy energies or the so-called dark energies or ghosts.
Very aware.
I'm very aware of it, but it's like, how do you, do you really want to be aware of it if you don't have tools to change it? And so most people are like, I don't want to deal with this because if I have to deal with this, what am I going to do with it? The beauty of talk to the entity tools is that you can be aware of it and actually change it and clear it and communicate and whatever is required. So I did the clearings, I did the entity clearings, I communicated a bit, and then I did a couple more clearings, and yeah, it shifted. Like, it didn't shift right away, but it shifted.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing that Access has been talking about in classes is like, so there's Access and Talk to the Entities has super easy tools like, who does this belong to? Is this mine? Is this someone else's? What am I aware of? And a lot of people think that the tools are just to make stuff go away. But if you're aware of something and it doesn't want to go away and it needs facilitation, you're still going to perceive it. So it's still going to be there. So a lot of people think that like clearing entities is just clearing the entities to make them go away. And like you're saying, like, okay, it shifted and it changed. Okay, now what else is possible? Or now what is required? Okay, this energy is still here. It's not wrong. It's not right. It's just like, okay, do I need to ask a question? Can I even change this? Can I not change it? If I can't change it, maybe go do something else. And if you can't change it, keep asking questions.
I like that. And also just allowance.
An allowance. Like, okay, like, okay, like I live in Denver and there's drugs and homeless people everywhere. And I'm like, can I change this myself right now? No. Okay, what else is possible? And I guess I'll have allowance for you there. We'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's not your job to clear every entity in the whole planet, you know? Like, if it makes your life easier, do it. And if it doesn't, carry on. Like,
yeah.
I like Julie D. Mayo she said, I still dislike that scary shit. Reminds me too much of past lives. Some of what people think is make-believe is way too real.
Ooh, how evil were you in a past
life? Everything that is. Can we destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all in shirts. And that's the access consciousness clearing statement. That's what we use to clear like those points of views we have from past lives. Like,
yeah. Basically anything that makes you feel like shrinks your world or scares you or makes you not want to go and be free is a lie. And any of those lies, you can just be like, okay, everything this is, I uncreate and destroy it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, or poc and pod, or
yeah. I like that. Poc and pod. That was how, after my first bars classes, I just went around every day just going in my head, poc pod, poc pod, poc pod, pod poc, pod poc. Everything I thought, you know, was like every judgment in my head, poc and pod, poc and pod. And it worked. After a while, I was like, oh my God, this stuff works. It's weird, but it works.
I just started our Facebook Live on my phone. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
There you are. So yeah, I know it really works, and you can use it all the time. You don't have to say it out loud, so you don't have to be like a weirdo.
Oh yeah, I did it in my head.
Yeah, I did it. I still do it in my head all the time. I'm like, oh, this feels weird. Poc and pod. Okay, like you can be a closet weirdo, or you can, especially for Halloween, you can just be like a out of the closet weirdo if you want.
Yeah. Do you think Halloween just gives everyone a permission to be as weird as they really actually be, but never allow themselves to be?
Totally. Oh yeah. Hoping you'd talk about that. like why do you dress up for Halloween?
Because you get to be something different.
Yeah. And then what do you be like when you, like in normal life?
Serious.
The same as
normal. Human.
Yeah, human. Like, what would it take to be whoever you'd like to be every
day? Yeah. Like, what if you didn't need a holiday or permission from this reality to be like, be as weird? What if you got dressed up like this every day?
Seriously.
Like, what if you're like, today, what character would I like to play?
Or like how they have like, I guess as a kid, I turned everything into killer. But most people, when they're adults, they turn everything into like a slutty cat or something. So you could be a slut every day. If that's what you really want to be.
Yeah, it's so funny how many women in particular, like at Halloween, get dressed up as like dominatrix, slutty cat, slutty bunny, slutty. Like, how many women in the world just want to be sluts every day?
Right.
But they're only allowed one day, or you know,
just at Halloween, or they like. I don't know,
I have
homecoming.
to say, I have a friend, Sarah Kelly, and she is living in Ireland, and she's brilliant. Like, she is so willing to just get up and be like, what does my body want to wear? And she'll go to the gym, like local gym in Ireland. And by the way, now getting dressed like this in Ireland is like beyond like crazy. Like, because most people in Ireland don't even wear colored clothes. Never mind, like, she wears like burlesque type clothes. So she'll like wear a corset, like she'll wear like the garter, the garter tights or whatever. Like, and she'll wear like the shorts or the skirt, and like then she'll wear like bright colors, like neon, and like she just loves it. And she doesn't have a point of view. She's like, people can say what they want about me. I love dress. She loves dressing up, and she goes to the gym and works out like with these dressy clothes.
That's awesome. I've been to Ireland, and it is like literally like rainy, serious. If you're talking, it's got to be dramatic, and the world is ending, but somehow you're persevering. So that's amazing.
Yeah, she's this little blonde girl walking around wearing her burlesque clothes every day, like.
Yeah, maybe ask your body every day, like, okay, body, what would you like if every day was Halloween? What would we choose?
Yeah. What role would we play?
Yeah, what role would we play? Amy almost was a cat, and then she put whiskers on her forehead, and she turned into a tree spirit, earth spirit.
Earthy girl.
Earthy girl.
And maybe later I'll turn into that slutty cat.
Exactly.
I don't know if cats are very slutty. Maybe like
cats are super slutty.
Are they? Oh, okay.
Have you ever watched them walk?
Yeah, and the way they kind of like.
And they're like bitchy, and they're like, you could touch me, but if you do, I'll fucking bite your hand, or they just go away. Like they are really good at being slutty.
I like that.
But like, without giving it up.
Without giving it up. I like it.
Being slutty doesn't mean you have to give it up.
Definitely doesn't.
Where is this Facebook Live going? So, more about Halloween and entities.
You always have choice.
You always have choice. You always have choice with entities. If something's scaring you or whatever, it doesn't, like, anything that's heavy is not actually true for you.
Yeah.
So be like, okay, this feels heavy. Is this actually true for me? Nope, heavy. No matter how real it feels. Just like when I was a kid, everything felt really real. I couldn't have the lights off very often. I had to have some sort of light in my room on. But I would also torture myself. Like, it would be thunder. I was terrified of thunderstorms into college. I was like, oh my God. And I'd have to have all the lights on. But I would also play like Michael Jackson Thriller at the same time, which I don't think was very conducive to like ease. I was like, because I was terrified of the Thriller song, but I was also obsessed with it. I'm like, this is weird. I'm so scared, but this is what I'm doing. Okay. So if it feels heavy, and I didn't know this back then, if it feels heavy, it's not true. You're just aware of something. Yeah. So sometimes if something feels heavy or scary, something is trying to get your attention. And it's not always like going to harm you. It's not always like out to get you. It might be trying to give you some information. So you want to ask the 3 tools, does this energy want to clear, communicate, or receive? Do I need to receive something, or would it like something?
Yeah. And like also when something, like if something's trying to get someone or something's trying to get your attention and you're ignoring it, they're just going to keep like tugging at you like a child would want your attention. And like after a while it gets kind of loud. So like it's heavy because it's loud in your world, So also
crying louder and louder and louder until you
Yeah, I actually had that the other night where there was like, I couldn't sleep. There was like energies in the room and I was like, what? And then I was like, it's 4 a.m. Come back in the morning. I'm not doing this right now. And I did the clearing, one of the clearings from Talk to the Entities, and it cleared a bit. And then I just did All of Life Comes to Me with Ease, Joy and Glory. And I fell asleep. And in the morning I was like, okay, I told you leave and I will deal with you in the morning. And then I was like, okay, what is this? And then I ask questions in the morning. So that's another thing. If things come to you at night, like if you're disturbed at night, like you're actually having awareness throughout the day that you're not dealing with. And then at night, like a lot of that stuff will come to you because your walls and barriers are down.
That's great. So in the Talk to the Entities class, we talk about having business hours. So if you can't sleep very well at night, or you are like, I don't want to deal with this all the time, You can ask the entities to show up for your business hours or your office hours. And a lot of people are like, oh, I always forget about that, or like, I don't remember to do that. I don't know how to do that. Now Talk to the Entities is where all the facilitators are now allowed to facilitate office hours, which are, I think they're going to be about 7 calls. Like there'll be different chunks of in a row where we will just go through doing office hours. So if you don't know how to do it, just hop on.
Well, you need to take a Talk to the Entity class.
You have to have taken a Talk to the Entity class.
Yeah. But yeah, and you can, like, it's like talking to a person, you know, like if someone calls you and you don't want to take the call, you're like, call me back at this time. I can talk to you then. So a lot of stuff with
deal with your entities.
Yeah, a lot of stuff with dealing with entities is like you're dealing with people. Like if someone's knocking on your door, you're like, okay, like, no, come back in an hour's time and then I can talk to you. And also like the thing about the fear, like, can really a being without a body, this has helped me the most, can really a being without a body be more powerful than me? I have a body.
Gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah, like what are you gonna do? Like you can't even pick up an object. Like you don't have a body, you know. You might have to mess with the lights or something.
Oh, cool! The book fell off the shelf.
Yeah, or something falls. Like okay,
pissed off. They're like,
yeah, like maybe you can trip me up or something, but like
they're pretty good at tripping me. I'm like,
yeah, I'm kind of good, easy to be tripped as well. But like it's, you know, I'm still more powerful. I have a body. I can kill anyone.
Yeah.
Right?
It was so cute. I just have to tell this story really quick about the tripping thing. My nephew, because like I'm like the weird aunt who talks to ghosts and animals and blah blah blah, which is normal for you, Amy, and me. And it's like, yeah, you talk to entities, that's normal. But for most people, it's not. And so my nephew was like, so are there like spirits in this forest? We were on a nature walk, and I was like, and I asked him like, yeah, there is, or there are. And he was like, okay, well, I don't really believe that they're here because I can't feel them or see them. I'm like, okay, well, just ask him to make it obvious. He's like, okay, make it obvious. And he starts walking and walking and walking. And all of a sudden he was like, I don't feel them at all. And then boom, he like landed straight on his back. Like this stick showed up out of nowhere. And he's like, what the? And I'm like, did they make it obvious enough for you? And he was like, he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. It was so cool.
Be careful what you ask for.
Be careful what you ask for.
That's so funny. They were playing with him. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loved it.
Entities have a sense of humor too, some of them.
Yes.
So we're done for today, I think.
Yeah, I think our time is up.
Our time is up. Shannon's on at 4 p.m. though, so she's on an hour and a half from now.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It's 12. I'm in Denver. You're in Florida. Okay, cool. Yay. I cannot wait. How's it getting
Thanks
better?
for being here. Thanks
Happy
for watching, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.